I'm here. We're gonna sit and we're gonna chat, okay? I was gonna light some incense so you guys can join me because we're gonna talk about a fun topic. Life after divorce, y'all. It's real, man. Whew, you don't even know. So, I'm here in my room here in Tulum, Mexico. These are like these cool little incense that you like light and then you leave. It's like match incense. So we're gonna light that in the background. And then I'm gonna prop y'all up. Well, let's see, I'm like backlit, so anyway, we're gonna sit and chat like this. In my little nook here, I got my little nook. How are all of y'all doing? It's good to be here. It's good to be queer. I wanted to chat with you guys about life after divorce and what that looks like and how that feels in the body. So snuggle up and yeah, feel free to chime in. This is a live video, so I can see your comments, and this can be an interactive conversation. So thank you for being here. I realize that there's so many things to pay attention to online, so the fact that you're here is a true gift and a true honor, and I do not take it for granted that you value or have some sort of desire to hear what I have to say. So I thank Great Spirit for using me as a channel. This is not coming from me. I am merely a vessel that Spirit continues to use and channel through. So we are all God speaking to other gods to understand itself better. And yeah, it's a powerful thing. So thank you for being here. I got married in, well, I got my tattoo right here. I want to be able to like prop you up so that I don't have to hold this. Like that. How does that feel? I have this tattoo here. This is the date that I was married in Roman numerals. So I got married September 5th, 2015 to a beautiful man with a beautiful heart for the world. And we were two young little vessels that were doing our best to come together to create a sacred union, what we knew of a sacred union to be anyway, with the little tools available. But we did our best. It was so authentic, it was so honest in that time. And the truth is, we each had deep inner child wounding and traumas and a whole plethora of different things that we were both bringing to the table, and we were not trauma informed. We didn't have a lot of great guidance when it came to how to come back from rupture. So to those that were mentoring us, bless you. And I highly encourage just further inquiry and contemplation and question asking before guiding any couples towards marriage, because that is quite the commitment and it is quite the initiation. It is quite the death to self. And so when I look back, I have zero regrets. I don't live my life in regrets. I have so much honor for our hearts at that time and what we were called to co-create at that time. And with that said, I would do things a lot differently had I been given the opportunity again today, simply because I know a lot more now, and I am definitely in my body in a way that I was not back then. And so there's just been so many more things that have come to the surface as I've gone down my own journey of alchemy and identity and um, self-awareness, really. And so all that to say, I don't need to get into it. If you would like to know more about our journey, there's plenty of videos on this channel that you can go back and look at that I go into grave detail about. So feel free to check those out. I'll link them in the comment box below or in the description box below. But what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is life after divorce and what that looks like and what it looked like even to, set that up. So for me, I knew I wanted to leave. I knew I was complete, and I'll never forget the aha moment that happened in my own soul when I just looked into his eyes and I was complete. I was complete and I never looked back. And I don't remember the exact day. That would be actually really interesting to know because these days continue to cycle through and you'll start to map your own data and realize that certain dates come back around and then there's this trigger that happens in your body because it's kind of like alerting you to remember that that was a really big moment in your hero's journey. So I don't remember the exact date, but it was sometime, I believe in late January or early February 2019. And I just grabbed one little bag and I grabbed my stuff and I was complete and I never, like I said, looked back. It took me a long time to actually, I had a legal separation, which I don't even really know what that means. I did my best, again, with the little tools that I had. I did not, and as you guys know, some of you may know, it was a very domestically violent situation, and so I felt very unsafe with him even knowing where I was. So I kept that very secret. And so for those of you that are walking through something similar, this is very serious. And so I just recommend that you go somewhere very safe, and you don't tell anyone where you are. And the people that you are staying with, let them know that it is very crucial that your privacy is respected, because that was a huge part of my journey, even up until the paperwork and all of that. So I've never released my addresses, and this is just true for me. This is what makes me feel safe. And so I just share all this because I haven't shared a lot about this. This is my first time really talking about this. So thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing me and holding the space. So I, slowly but surely built an exit strategy. I had an apartment that I rented that became my little safe haven and my refuge for about a year after the divorce. And again, this was like all happening so quickly, and I had a lot of support. I had a lot of friends that helped me like move some of my stuff out. I never went back to that house by myself ever, not one time ever again. Still to this day, Corey has only seen me twice since we've separated, and every time I have been with people. That's my boundary. I do not enter into his field, into his space without someone else present. So yeah, I had a year-long lease in Joshua Tree. I moved from Los Angeles to Joshua Tree, and I needed to do some really deep alchemy and soul searching. And so yeah, I created my own little refuge, like I said, the safe space for myself to weather through the PTSD that I was experiencing, and getting back into my body after what happens is in those situations is fight or flight, and then you disassociate. So I was experiencing like a lot of dissociative behavior, and that was a process. So I was in therapy, I started working with coaches, I started traveling and working with different healers and shamanic guides all around the world. I just dove deep into self-development work, and I can definitely attest my resting state to doing this kind of work. So I highly recommend that if you have very complex trauma that you are working through, that you seek outside counsel and help. And also the medicine path is something I highly recommend because it has really helped me navigate very complex trauma that also extended beyond just the marriage, but also from past early childhood development and stuff like that. So again, I'm going to continue to pop on here and share more about the medicines that I've sat with, for example, ayahuasca, and some other medicines, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but look forward to me just popping on and sharing. And so I have a whole list, and this was on the list of my shares, is life after divorce. So from there, I had started a really deep rising ritual, just getting into a different routine and just creating that space of like cooking foods and being in a meditation practice and listening to good music, dancing, singing. These are all things that helped to regulate and get me back in my body. And a journal practice was huge as well. Just mapping out where my mental health was at, and now I can go back and reference where I was at and continue to see the progress. Again, I recommend working with some sort of therapist. That was extremely crucial for me. So I again invested in myself, and that has been my pursuit since I left, is just my me choosing me first, me putting my oxygen mask on first. Then it came time to really start navigating through the legalities and really doing my best. And just super transparently, the entire marriage, I was the financial provider. I didn't have support financially from his side at all. And no judgment there, just like very transparent, like that's the truth. And I knew that this divorce was not going to happen unless I paid for it, unless I really showed up. And so I found a mediation service, which would cost me a lot less than a lawyer. I highly recommend them. They're based out of LA. They're called Peace Talks, and they create a really safe container for you to go through all of the paperwork and to discuss everything via Zoom with your current spouse. And they also allowed me to use their address as my home base rather than putting an address on there. So these are all things that, as a domestic violence, again, survivor, I hate to use that word, but it's just true. It made me feel very safe. And so that process was, a payment plan, and it was still thousands of dollars because they charge per hour. And there was a lot of different things, but I'm so grateful. Thank you. Shout out to Stephanie over at Peace Talks, again, based out in Santa Monica. She created such a safe space for me, and she ended up just, making me just feel so grounded in what was happening. And because again, I just felt so disillusioned, and I just felt so trapped that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And this is a testimony of someone that just continues to like fight for my freedom. And so I actually paid for the entire thing myself, which was big because I was still paying for all my other expenses, and that was something that kept me in a really strong holding pattern of feeling trapped. And I had already been building another partnership at that time. I was in a relationship with Emmy, and there were conversations where she would go, "Are you even gonna get divorced?" And I just felt so overwhelmed because it felt impossible, if I'm honest. But again, just putting one foot in front of the other. May this just be an encouragement that you will get through, and just start chipping away and asking and leaning into support is important. It took about, because of the pandemic and everything being backed up in the system, our divorce was going through in Los Angeles in California. So it took over a year, and I just kept emailing back and forth saying, okay, great, now the paperwork's in, the court system has it, like when am I gonna expect to have this finalized? And they just kept emailing back and saying, it's not through yet, they haven't received the paperwork, so the final judgment, hadn't been processed. And I just was waiting for the day, and I remember thinking, I wonder what it's gonna be like when I finally get the aha, it's complete. Like once I finally get that email that says you're free, I wondered what it would feel like. And to be honest, I kind of released it. I did a prayer and I just was like, all right, instead of me continuing to ask, I'm just gonna let this lie. And I did that. I released it. And sure enough, I'll never forget, because it wasn't that long ago, guys, that this just finalized. It was July 31st, 2021, that, I'm sorry, yeah, 2021, that it finalized. So it was in the middle of the night. I was actually now with my new partner, Cameron, and I got a little notification on my phone at around 2 in the morning. I woke up to get water and I just kind of like glanced over at my phone. My phone was lit up and it was I had an email in my inbox from Peace Talks, and it said, congratulations, your paperwork has been, finalized, and your final judgment has been processed. And I was about, like I said, 2 in the morning, and I remember looking at my phone in just utter disbelief and just going, oh, it's complete. This saga is actually complete. Oh my Lord. And I was absolutely buzzing. I was like, I felt every cell in my DNA just kind of come alive because it just felt free. And this is just, again, my experience, and I just share this transparently because this is true for me. And so from there, because I feel sovereign, it was only about a month after that, my father passed away. And it was an interesting thing that came through me, but one of the first people that I wanted, or one of the first persons that I wanted to talk to was Corey, because he was very close with my father. And I felt safe knowing, that we don't talk that often, honestly. We barely communicate. It's like here and there. And when it is, it's longer drop-ins, and it's beautiful, and it's challenging, and it's all of the things. Just because our healing journey is unique. So it finally came to a time that we got to drop in and chat, and it was beautiful. It was a great conversation, and we've only had, I think, one other conversation since then, which was more recently. And I realized that even though we're divorced, I'm still finding that we're in a holding pattern. And there's just this desire in him to want to continue to co-create art, because we are two artists that came together with just these, the illusion of these broken hearts, because, to say that we need healing is to assume that we're not already whole, which is a lie. So like, again, we're in this deep remembering as a collective that we are already whole and sovereign and free, and oftentimes our sets of traumas allow us to forget that. So there's been a lot more that's come through that I'm not even going to get into today, but there was just this moment of an aha of going, oh, Corey and I are still in a holding pattern. We're divorced, and yet we're still in this rigmarole of back and forth, and this is not healthy. And so I did a large purge of just like releasing all that needed to be released through my journal, and just like calling forward what I would like to see for 2022. And it was just space from certain individuals in my life that I believe are just still like energy cords, like siphoning some energy of mine that is not for anyone other than myself, honestly. And I felt a large confirmation of asking for zero communication for all of 2022, just to get clear and be in my own space and in my own creations without any sort of, conversation between us. And I have so much grace, so much radical grace for Corey and our dynamic, because I do believe that he is me. I don't think that there is other. I recognize that there is only ever you. And at the same time, boundaries, my loves, because oftentimes we can just still fall into these patterns. And so I am so grateful. I am so grateful to Spirit for allowing. Response to that would be, thank you for taking care of yourself. And I plead the fifth on whether or not that was the response. I recognize the archetype that I hold, and that a lot of us womb space holders are these beautiful, beautiful beings that are in process. And it is really, again, radical honesty and strong boundaries that are helping train and teach these beings that have kind of infiltrated. So, with that said, now I feel, I just feel lighter, and the people that I surround myself with currently understand and create the space for me to shine and to frolic and be free and learn and grow. And I have no patience for anything less than that, honestly. The people that I am in partnership with, and I say people because it's plural, I am practicing, the art of polyamory right now because that feels really good and alive for me to play with and try on for size. And it feels fun and exciting because I don't really want to be in any sort of like deep, committed belovedship after being married. I want to explore as an artist and channel from this heart expansive place with multiple beings that are all artists, and see what comes through. So life after divorce, my loves, is an exciting, thrilling adventure. And again, may this just be so encouraging to those of you that are questioning your sanity of wanting to complete something that you just know from the depths of your gut, from your soul, from the caverns, that is just not in alignment. And it takes so much courage and bravery to just like say no more and to just move forward with that truth. I remember feeling like, again, trapped and just like it wasn't going to ever be. And now sitting here in this new vibration just absolutely floors me. Each day I wake up and I just say, life can be just this good. And I continue to just experience more and more pleasure and bliss on repeat. And I just continue to see miracles unravel right before my very eyes, and how supported I am by not only friends and family, but um, my guides and my ancestors. And today I just had a meditation this morning. I was just in tears, just calling in all of my ancestors and just going, thank you, thank you, thank you for the ability to be here now. So I just encourage deep gratitude for every part of the process. Even when it is really challenging, just continue to give gratitude for where you're at, and just write out where you would like to be. Dare to dream your absolute wildest desires into existence. It's for you. Pleasure and bliss is your birthright. And may I just be continually a living testimony of this. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting one foot in front of the other. Again, I may not know you by name. I may not know what you're carrying and what you're weathering through, but I see you in my meditations. I feel you in my prayers, and I know that I am being called to be a voice to the voiceless. So hang on to the vibration of this steady, steady, nourished space, and may this just encourage you to step into your highest vibration of truth and to let go of all that is not serving you. May you continue to be blessed 11,000-fold. I love you. I'm with you. You got this. Onward ever, backwards never.